Hello there, my beautiful friends, and welcome back to the Duality of Life podcast. Super grateful that you're here. If you've watched the last couple episodes, you know I've been having troubles with my podcast mic, so I've been holding a spatula with a small little mic attached to it, and we've graduated from holding the spatula mainly because I cooked food earlier today and have not washed the spatula yet. So I have my microphone attached to my clothes. We're hoping that the audio is okay, and also pray for me that I can figure out my freaking podcast mic, because this is very, very annoying. It's a very expensive microphone that I can't use, and it's just sitting there rotting in my cupboard. But anyways, this is besides the point. Today I just want to do a really motivational, I guess, deep dive into the fact that you have one life that we are aware of, that we are conscious of in this current state that we are in, and you can do so much with this. And it's so unfortunate that a lot of media and society kind of takes our power away from us. It subdues us. It makes us unmotivated. And we just get into this cycle of not thinking that we are worthy of so much more. And no, we should not chase other people's dreams. We should chase our own dreams. And to figure out how to navigate what that even looks like for us as individuals is scary and complex. And in this day and age where so much is put on the pressure of making an income or gaining status or becoming something that somebody can understand, like a lawyer or a financial consultant or some sort of tech person. We always want, not always, we want to have a title to ourselves that somebody else can understand, instead of recognizing that our individuality, our uniqueness will never be able to have a title. We are who we are. And to try to explain that to somebody is confusing and confronting and scary. And I always get uncomfortable when somebody asks me what I do for work. I'm like, I put stuff on the internet and people watch it. This is usually what I say to people. I'm just I make a fool of myself on the internet and people like it, apparently. I don't know. That's what I do. And a lot of the time that either makes people giggle or ask more questions or just have no idea what to respond with, and then we move on with the conversation. But here's the thing. To be able to explain to somebody what I do in a short, coherent way it's just impossible, because I am showing up as me, as my authentic self. And no, absolutely not does your job define you. And no, you do not have to throw out your job, your security, your income to pursue something that you enjoy as a hobby. No, we should enjoy what we do on a daily basis, because I think the more that we enjoy ourselves in our life and what we do regularly, the happier that we will be. Because the more we do things that we hate, the less we're going to enjoy our lives. The more we do things that don't add value to our lives, the less we're gonna have value in our lives, because we're just not gonna feel excited by life. We're not going to feel rejuvenated, by living, by doing the activities that we enjoy. We're probably just going to get into a cycle of not doing the things that we enjoy, because the majority of the day we're not doing something we enjoy. So then after work, we just need to numb ourselves. And I mean, that's a horrible place to be. But this is to remind you that no, if you don't have to quit your job to have a great life, but to get yourself out of the cycle and get yourself into that motivated state that you literally do have one life sitting in front of you that you can do so much with. And it is so beautiful to enjoy that life that you have. And if you want to pursue something and gain income by doing something that is a passion of yours and feels like it's a calling to you, then this is also for you. Like, I want you to know that that is possible, but we all have to start somewhere. The person that is making like incredible YouTube videos, scroll back to their first one 5, 10, 15 years ago even, and see how maybe uncomfortable that video is versus what they create now. Look at somebody that is sharing their wisdom online. They probably have been doing so for years and years and years and have slowly gained knowledge to do what they do. We don't just wake up one day and are the top leader in whatever we want to pursue. It takes time. And often when we move through these things and are growing ourselves and are creating something and pursuing something, we are also going through life's changes as well. Maybe there's a bout of depression, but you don't stop creating. But that work is different than the creative work that you do when you're happy. Neither are wrong. They just have brought you to a different place. Maybe without that bout of depression or that bout of sadness in your creativity, you would have never experimented with adding black or adding darker colors in your work, or you would have never got to create this one piece that actually really inspired you to move in a different direction. And sometimes if we don't do it perfectly, we feel like we can't do it at all. And that is just a load of bullshit that keeps you from doing anything. So how do we gain that momentum? How do we continuously remind ourselves that we have one life and this life is valuable and this life is worth living and this life is worth enjoying? How do we continuously get into that cycle? Recognizing when we are doing things that aren't adding value to our lives. The other day, I felt like this past weekend, honestly, I just needed to not think about work. And I was in my bathroom washing my face and just, running through thoughts and ideas and my life in my own head, and recognized that for the last several weeks, I have been waking up with my phone beside my bed and scrolling for 35 minutes. Or texting people back, or just immediately grabbing my phone. And I'm like, if I continue down this train, it is just going to take life out of me. It is just going to take my motivation out of me in the morning times. It's going to distract me from doing what I need to do in the morning times. And it's just gonna make me feel bad about myself. Okay, what do I do about that? I'm gonna put my phone on the other side of the room. And we're gonna have that alarm going, and we're gonna not pick it up immediately. It's gonna be on airplane mode. And I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go make my matcha and I'm gonna go sit on the couch, at least before I check my phone. And the last couple days that I've been doing that, it's reminded me that I enjoy my morning routine of getting up and having my tea and just taking at least 15 minutes to comprehend that I'm awake again. And these small little notices of things that are not adding value to our lives, and making small little changes to pull ourselves out of that, adds more opportunity to add more value to our lives. It is so difficult to live a happy life not doing things that add happiness to your life. And for myself, I've noticed that sometimes when I am in a really good space mentally, I'll give myself allowance and lenience to, check my phone in the morning because I'm like, oh, well, I'm in a good space. So I don't have to follow these rules. But these are exactly the things that's gonna take me out of the good space. Just because you're in a good space doesn't allow you to do really bad things to yourself now because you're well, I'm in a good space, so it's fine. Well, doing things that don't add value to your life are essentially just going to take, or eventually just going to take value out of your life and probably lead you not in a good space. It's like getting yourself happy again after a breakup, and then you're like finally motivated to date again, you're finally motivated to put yourself out there again, you're feeling really confident, really good about yourself, and yet you start dating somebody that makes kind of crude comments about your looks, or crude comments about your personality, or like passive aggressive comments about things, and like you're like, well, I can just brush it off and I don't take it personally because I know whatever. Eventually that's going to get to you. Eventually that person's going to say something that actually does trigger you, and then the spiral begins and you're not in a good space anymore. You are a human being. You are a human little creature. You are an animal. And I think a lot of the time we forget that we are animals. Like I feel like a lot of us don't even want to admit that we are animals. We feel like we're above that. We're very sophisticated animals. We're very intelligent animals, very conscious animals, but we are still animals. And we are not able to escape that very real reality. If an animal is trapped in a cage and doesn't get to roam free, doesn't get to experiment, doesn't get to learn, is like domesticated, it's not going to rely on its natural instincts as prominently. It's going to rely on outside sources to feed it, to tell it when there's danger. And it will, naturally feed into its like very real instincts, like maybe reproducing and like hanging out with other species, or hanging out with its own species. And like, it's gonna do those like very basic things. But I think this is partly why a lot of us are so unable to tap into our intuition, is because we have trapped ourselves in these cages of outsourcing knowledge. And yes, of course, it's so beautiful to learn and gain knowledge and listen to other people's perspectives and all of the things. But how much time do you spend with yourself and just let your mind think? Not necessarily in meditation where you're trying to, escape reality and like whatever. Like, I mean, just let your mind like think. Go for a walk without a podcast going. Go for a run without music. Clean your house without needing to have a distraction. And it's great to be able to like have these distractions. And I often use like cleaning and chores to tap into my my podcasts or my audiobooks or like whatever. But I also recognize that sometimes I'll clean my house and then I'll make myself lunch or breakfast or dinner, and I literally cannot listen to anything while I'm doing that. Like, I actually just need to be in the moment. I need to be present with myself. And it's become almost just an instinct for me to do that. And every time I do and I lean into that, it feels so good. My mind just makes so many connections. I have so many epiphany moments. I have so many ideas and creative flow in those times that I'm just spending this time with myself. And it is so powerful. Yes, if we are prone to anxiety, yes, if we are prone to depression, yes, if we are triggered, if we are like actively triggered in those moments, it's not fun to spend time with ourselves. It's not great to spend time with ourselves, like alone, isolated. That is, I think, when you need to outsource, especially in actual community and actual physical people with you. But if you're just needing some calmness in your life, or you're doing okay, but you're not really spending any time with yourself, take some time to spend with yourself, because the more that you implement that into your life, the more capable you're going to be to recognize what reoccurring thoughts are coming up. Oh, I really want to do this, or oh, I really want to experiment with that. Oh, I really need to lean into this like creativeness that I'm feeling, or I really need to, try that sport that I've been saying I need to do. And recognizing those patterns of what frequently comes up for you will hopefully be able to help you and motivate you to lean into those authentic things, sign up for things, research some stuff, go out there and buy the supplies that you need. So that way you can actually start adding things to your life that add real value to you. And if you hate it, I've talked about this in a previous podcast. Do not overcommit. Like if you want to start knitting, maybe ask your friend or your mom or your grandma or somebody that has knitting supplies to like borrow some stuff and like watch a YouTube video to like learn a little bit. Don't go out there and buy all the fancy yarns and all of the, greatest knitting needles. Like ask somebody to borrow theirs first. If you want to go and try a new sport, see if you can call up the local team and just be like, can I just like hang out with you guys at practice and like try it? Or ask a friend that plays that sport and be like, can I just come with you to your guys' practice and like I can try it? See if there's a free class at a nearby studio or gym. Do not overcommit to something that you've maybe never tried before, but that desire is coming from somewhere. Those ideas are coming from somewhere. And if we're just watching content continuously being like, oh, this person is now doing this, or this person is now doing that, I need to do those things because they're that type of person and I want to be that type of person, so I need to do that thing to be that type of person. No, you are your own uniqueness. If I could explain to people what I do, I don't think it would be that unique. Me, my person is the uniqueness. Your authenticity, as I say, which is, corny and everything, it's in my Instagram bio, your authenticity is your gift to the world. It is the most powerful thing about you. But if you do not spend time with yourself to tap into what that authentic self actually is, you're never gonna live a life that is authentic because you're constantly outsourcing and constantly reaching for somebody to tell you what to do next. That's why some people that go through the whole schooling system, when they get out of school, they don't know what to do next because they've just been told what to do their entire life. Building structure for yourself, building things for yourself is not easy. It's very hard to do. But it is so worth it. Remembering that you have one life and your authenticity is here, like it's there. It is waiting for you to discover it, but you need to discover it through experimenting, through spending time with yourself, through going outside and trying new things. You learn so much by putting yourself in uncomfortable situations, not safe situations. Let me just say that, like keep yourself safe. But like if going out and trying a team sport is uncomfortable, but you keep on, hearing you need to have soccer in your life for some reason, then you need to get yourself out there and start playing soccer. And although at first it may be uncomfortable, although at first it may be, feel yucky or not for us, if that inner calling is continuing to call you, it needs to be listened to. But first we need to create space for those inner callings to even arrive. Because if we're not even allowing those inner callings to arrive, we're just constantly outsourcing and gaining information from the outside, we're going to manipulate ourselves into being something that we are not. And that's going to eventually lead us down a train of probably anxiety and depression and a lack of purpose or a lack of knowing what to do next or a lack of feeling gross. And I was there. I mean, when I first started my YouTube channel and started sharing cooking videos and vegan cooking videos, like that was so authentic to me. But I shifted and evolved as a human. And this is also really important to know, is just because something was authentic to you 5 years ago doesn't mean that that is what you're gonna do for the rest of your life. These things are brought to us in cycles. We need to move through this to learn something about ourselves, to then, get to a different space. And that is always the case. No matter how old you get, you are constantly learning. You don't just arrive one day at 35 years old or 40 years old or 60 years old or 70 years old and have it all figured out. Yeah, you learn and you grow and you evolve and you may have more information at 70 than you did at 25, but you can decide you want a whole different life at 72. You may have been doing something for the last 10 years and be like, you know what? It's done. I gotta move on with my life. As you should. As you should. And there's no shame in that. There's no shame in continuing to experiment and continuing to grow and continuing to question life and yourself and what you want. And of course, like, we can't take all decisions back. And I've said this in another podcast, like, if you don't know if you want children, like, take that seriously. Don't just like have children because you're like, oh, I don't know, maybe, you know, like, think about those things. If you don't know if you want to get married, like, think about those things, debate them, maybe talk to a therapist, you know, do what you need to do to actually make those larger decisions. But I really believe that when you are building your life on small decisions, like recognizing that grabbing your phone when you first wake up is not good for you and actively trying to change that, these small decisions create more soundness for larger decisions. When you create a life that is authentic in small ways, larger decisions feel a lot more easier to tap into our authenticity and know, like, this is right and this is wrong for us. But you have the ability to build a beautiful, beautiful life for yourself if you know that you are capable, for one, and if you allow yourself the space and the audacity to be who you are. But it takes time. It takes a lot of time. Me moving from the content that I'm creating now to the content that I once was creating wasn't just a snap of a finger, wake up one day and it's like, okay, and now I know exactly what I'm doing. I've decided to throw that away and now I know exactly what I'm doing again. Absolutely not. It is an evolution. I went through a depressive episode. I went through just chaotic, like, I don't even know what to call them. I mean, I've mentioned this before, tantrums. I would just have these like intense tantrums that I would get triggered and then, you know, just be put into a childlike state. And age regression is a very real thing. If you suffered from childhood trauma, like, age regression is very common, and I hesitate to say normal because we shouldn't necessarily normalize it, but it's a very common thing that a lot of people experience when they have experienced childhood trauma. When they get very triggered, they age regress into whatever age that maybe they experience the most intensity that they remember. For me, I feel like I kind of age regress into about a 5 to 6 year old, like 4, 5, or 6 in that age range. However, this is besides the point. Moving from that content that I once was creating didn't just close and then the new tab opened. It was a trail that I was walking. I had to slowly get from point A to point B, and it had to be a journey. And it was like a year or more long journey, really. And I feel like continually I was pulling out nuggets of my inner self. I was pulling nuggets out of my authentic self. I was slowly discovering who this new being that I am really is. Although many times I wanted to quit, many times I wanted to throw in the towel, many times I just wanted to fucking literally hide. Like, I just wanted to like not be online anymore. I just didn't want to share anything. I was literally looking up like nanny jobs. I was like thinking that maybe I could just get free accommodation if I looked after a family and just lived in that way, and maybe took a year to do that and just like didn't do anything. But the reality was I was depressed and I was trying to hide away from what was really calling me. I was afraid that I was going to show up online and wasn't going to be accepted anymore. I was afraid that this part of me wasn't going to be held by people. And it was really scary to not know exactly where I was going to land. I didn't know what my point B was. I just knew I didn't want to be at point A anymore. And so I started walking away, and every step is just terrifying. But it is a journey. And moving from a life that you don't feel like is authentic to you to a life that is authentic to you has to be a journey. And to get there, we have to experiment. We have to ask ourselves questions. podcasts. We have to look up things even though it may have or make no sense to anybody. Like, if I just completely disappeared from the online space and got a nanny job and was like, all right, peace guys, a lot of people would be like, dude, what? Like, what happened? But I allowed myself to have that thought experiment. I allowed myself to imagine my life, what that life would look like. I allowed myself to email people and reach out to people, even though I may not decide to go down that route. I had to know what it felt like. And that's exactly my point of saying, like, don't overinvest. Don't throw everything out the window. You know, get your grandma's knitting supplies and like try it out before you actually throw everything to the wind. But you are so capable of listening to that inner knowing and following its path, because maybe this inner knowing of you needing to play soccer isn't going to lead you down a path of amazingness in soccer. Like, you're not going to become some Olympic athlete in soccer, but you may meet some really amazing people that you love deeply for the rest of your life. You may join a team and learn so much about yourself. You may encounter a new level of companionship, or maybe even anger or intensity, or just a new level of emotion that is unlocked from this experience that you may never would have had otherwise. And this new emotion, this new experience, these new connections can then lead you to something so much more beautiful in your life than what you previously had. And having the audacity to step outside of your comfort zone, do something that maybe people don't expect you to do, is so powerful and so beautiful. And I encourage you to do so. This is the whole point of the podcast, is that you have one life, and that intuitive knowing, that intuitive voice is inside of you. You have the capability to live an authentic life because you are a human being. You are a human being, a little human animal, a very sophisticated one, a very intelligent one, a very conscious one. But don't just feed into the animalistic instincts. Feed into the sophistication that you have. Feed into the intelligence that you have. Feed into the consciousness that you have. Reconnect with yourself, because like I've said, if we're constantly outsourcing our ideas, constantly allowing other people to think for us, we are stripping ourselves from our own autonomy. We are stripping ourselves from our own uniqueness, our authenticity that is here. It is inside of you. Living an authentic life isn't just for them. It isn't just for who they are or what they're doing. It is for you as well. And do not get stuck in the trap of what an authentic life looks like. I see so much online that people, believe that somebody traveling the world is living an authentic life. Somebody buying a plot of land and starting a farm is an authentic life. Somebody, whatever dream, the big dream that they are fulfilling is an authentic life. That could not be for you at all. Your authentic life is your unique, authentic life. And it does not mean all of these kind of superficial milestones that we see online. And yeah, somebody can travel the world and document it and share it online, and that's their authentic life. But you can do that and hate it the entire time. But because for some reason you have this idea of that's what it is to live an authentic life, you've manipulated yourself into outsourcing the idea of what an authentic life looks like. Your authentic life is yours. And it can mean working a job that you enjoy at a small company in a town that you really like, and going on hikes with your friends on the weekends, going out camping, or creating something beautiful. It could be starting a crochet business. It could be traveling the world, it could be having a family, it could be being a yoga teacher or podcaster or a documentarian or a candle maker, a cook, a chef, a person that just wants to try things. Your authentic life can be none of those titles, and you can just be somebody that is willing to experiment, is willing to say yes, is willing to step outside their comfort zone, is willing to follow that intuitive knowing that they have because they've spent enough time with themselves to know that that's been happening for a while. Oh, I've been having this thought for a while. Oh, I've been feeling like I need to do this for a while. And knowing that in the right time, if you make the right time for yourself, it will come to fruition. So my friends, please, please, please spend some time with yourself. Listen to those inner thoughts. Figure out what the reoccurring motivations, the reoccurring ideas or creative process, calling is, and do a small thing to bring yourself to the next phase in your journey. Take a step, a small one, because you are so important. You are important. And you may never become the president or a famous person, but that doesn't make your life any less valuable. You are in contact with people and can inspire other people by just living your authentic life, by breaking down the barriers, by not outsourcing your ideas, by motivating yourself to know that your life is beautiful, that your life is beautiful. And you get to make it even more beautiful by leaning in to your true self. And if you're looking for a self-discovery tool, I just finished creating a year's worth of journal prompts, and it's called the Yearbook Journal. It has 52 journaling sessions inside of it, covering topics on relationships, trust, inner child healing, self-compassion, abundance, manifestation, just building a future life that you really enjoy. This is a tool that will create a lot more structure in your journaling practice and hopefully motivate you to live an authentic life. So click the link down in the description box or show notes to get your yearbook journal. And I really hope that you enjoyed it. I really hope you enjoy it. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. And I'm sending you so much love. And I hope to see you again so very soon. My name is Julia, and goodbye. Lots of love.